June 14th, 2025. Today, I went out to eat with my grandson and my husband, Carl. Okay? Later on, I went to Walmart West Task. Oh my God. People around me talking. Somebody off in the distance. Police better take care of that bitch that's trying to get Dixie arrested. You know? And then as I go to leave, there's a guy there talking. People talk to the whole store about this. That one guy found out that guy that was talking to him wasn't even our son. He's in Florida. And another guy, they had them threaten Michelle. We're all glad she told on him. That guy that was supposed to be running around with them saying stuff, it's not even our son. And they had lied. And then they had that other doctor, they were having doctors write up fraud. That's not even hers. Oh, yeah. Oh, their evil scheme is just crumbling. This whole thing is a bill from the Freemasons. I told you where Michelle was dating this one guy. He was an undercover agent. March 27th, 25. He was outside my work talking that he broke up with Michelle. Michelle had confessed to him that the reason I don't know who that doctor is, he's not one of mine. He works for them and they had lied. And that I don't even know who he is. Okay? And when they bashed me in the back of the head, that they had tried to kill me or leave me incompetent, and it didn't work. And he had even got it out of Dave that a girlfriend from before me made him marry me. He got a job at my dad's factory so she'd have free insurance. And he could give her extra money. The other woman using my insurance and ran up all those medical bills with one of Dave's girlfriends. My whole marriage was a scam. Okay? Whole thing. Yeah. Well, March 30th, that's when my neighbor in my old apartment that's part of this kept his mouth shut for a whole year. How he was part of this big fraud scheme from the Freemason. How he's in the office with that agent when they were defrauding him of the dirty doctor scam. And when he asked her about that doctor, she said she didn't know who he is. He's not my doctor. And that doctor has her tape saying, and she said she didn't know who he was. He knew she was lying. Wasn't the one lying you were. Okay? April 3rd, 25, down in Sugar Creek outside Dutch Valley Restaurant. A lady walks out ahead of me, then a guy behind me. And they're talking how this whole scam's wrong because they've been told on. Okay? April 17th, 25, Sheetz gas station. Michelle had a habit of following me around. And Carl had to use the bathroom. He goes in and she comes out and she walks up to a blue Bronco. The big government vehicle stop. As she's telling them, I talked to the police up there, and they told me, how dumb am I? Confessing to that guy that that doctor was never one of hers. He works for them, and they had lied he was one of my doctors. Okay? And that they had tried to kill me when they bashed in the back of my head, and it didn't work. And that he's an agent and she's an informant, and they all can end up in jail for this. Okay, then April 24th, 25 up in Summit Mall, the Texas group is up there. And one guy off in the distance says, you tell that guy Will here that was to pull off a scam. That it's all wrong, that Michelle had told on him that that doctor from before was never one of hers, but worse for them, and they had lied he was one of her doctors. You tell him we said to take care of her. And they left threats on that little girl everywhere. Okay. Oh, I went up to Summit Mall. People were talking. Said other cartel crazy, threatening Michelle. That other cartel will get him for that. For them telling on about the dirty doctor. May 25th, 25. I'm in Hollister and Summit Mall. Some boys are cackling in the corner. Boy, did Bill from the Freemasons run the biggest scam here. He had some guy go in and tape her in the shower and washing herself. Can you imagine taping somebody washing themselves and then put that in the other room? Photoshop that. They're cackling like it's funny. Then he had some guy go in and drug her up and tell her to say that. Can you imagine drugging somebody up and telling them to say something like that? And ran a contest off of it. Who could steal their money? And scammed everyone into helping out, and they're cackling. Well, May 26, 25, the cartel shows up at Walmart 62. We heard they were making fun of all this up in Summit Mall. The cartel's tired of Bill from the Freemasons. Who does he think he is? His scam of the dirty doctor not being one of hers works for them, and they had lied. Yeah. That other cartel is not running it. We are. Do they want more? Michelle said she's really nice. She said how to take care of herself. I told her to get to an FBI office. Did a video with it. She's got information on those people. She knows where anybody's being kept. It's gold to the FBI. 95% of the people in witness protection programs are criminals. Only 5% are victims. Okay? And then they said, this is no longer her concern. It's between us and them. And no one say a word when we're around. What we're going to do about it. Well, yesterday I was on the highway. A Texas truck was following me, and a Florida plate got right on its rear end. Somebody had said today they're telling everybody, leave me alone. I mean, this has just been an onslaught of days and days and days. Okay? Well, and then May 30th, 25, outside my apartment, that dirty lady that's trying to trick Dixie and Melissa into putting their name on this. Now, laws of surveillance. It is illegal to set up button cameras and listening devices in somebody's home or office. It's cyber stalking. It's a federal crime. It's illegal for a doctor to tape you unaware, no matter what, because of HIPAA and Privacy Acts. They go to jail. Now, we all know we tape cookouts, birthday parties, get-togethers, right? Ohio is a one-party conversation only recording. You can hit record on your phone. It is totally legal. Can't leave it running because then it goes into stalking. But if you're just talking, it's like having been at a cookout, function, event. You can hit record. It's your video. It's the United States of America. Ohio's a one-party conversation. Okay? Can't be a doctor, though, because then it goes into HIPAA. And a felony invasion of privacy. But, as long as you're not you can't be a doctor and do it. But if you're just a regular Joe Schmo, just a regular person, you can hit record on your phone. Totally legal. Of a one-party conversation recording. When I did my recording, I flipped the camera around so nobody could see who Dixie was or anybody else. Okay? To keep their identity safe, but for people to know what's going on. Okay? Because they're selling the login, but when you realize if you missed part of the case, you may have missed part of what is actually going on. So you give somebody permission on tape, you really don't have anything to say. It's already legal to hit record and tape a conversation. Okay? That idiot woman told Dixie that because she gave me permission on tape of taping her, of knowing of Melissa's Mean Games of Pretend, that all the kids were laughing about. Daybreak on the gunshot night. Do I have your permission? Yes. Is it okay if I taped you before of this? Yes. Because she said yes, she told him she can extort money out of the FBI. I can't even get Agent John to pay me. He's really back on my back pay. And we need to talk about workers' comp injuries, Agent John. And we need to talk about your unsafe work environment for your civilian employees. We need to talk about my Truckasami money, too. Got your world terrorists, thousands of bad guys. Not bad for a little old lady. Gotta be ashamed of yourself. I'm an old woman. I like my money. We all know you don't have authority to ask anybody to stay quiet. Takes a judge and a jury trial, freedom of speech, and then, let's see, you confessed you met with everyone and you told a whole nother church before you talked to me, like April 19th, 25. Hartville Flea Market. The feds show up. How dumb are these people? You would not believe how dumb they are. She calls the FBI hotline for help. They immediately walk in an FBI office and confess they're illegally monitoring her on their own. And no, she calls the FBI. And trust me, nobody fell for the dirty doctor scam. Taping you unaware before confessing your crimes and sat on tell Dave wanted a divorce. That's a crime in itself. Several. Taping unaware, sending on crimes. Now, if a doctor is never... Okay, doctors are never allowed to disclose what they see in you. Never treated... They can't tell you anything that you said to them, treated you for, nothing without your consent. HIPAA, Privacy Act. It's like 10 years. $1 million fine. That's how much their mouths are shut. They open their mouth of anything about you. But if they know someone's being harmed, they have to give a limited report to the police. There may be a problem here. I need you to look into it. But if they don't give a limited report to the police, they go to jail as an accessory. They can't sit on it. They can't say how they know, but let the police do their job. Okay? Otherwise, they go to jail as an accessory. See how dumb they are? And then it sounded mechanical, and we knew they altered everything. Well, the cops said we always knew that they drugged you and told you to say it before. We always knew that. And nobody fell for the weird with yourself. We knew it was photoshopped. Oh, showering. Washing yourself in the shower. And they photoshopped that and everything. But if they were going to be that dumb and try this with us, we told Agent John to go tell on her to that church that she called the FBI, another church, to find out if anybody else is involved and to act dumb like these people, to find out who's all involved. And trust me, we all knew the gunshot might happen and how not funny this is. And we really knew it wasn't funny when the other group showed up and said they worked for a drug lord and Dave hired them. We knew how not funny any of this is. So that's why Agent John was telling Apostolic Church of Barberton he knew I was being drugged, being raped, and didn't care. A federal cop not caring a woman's being raped and drugged. See, he made fun of me on the recorded line, how he had talked to him. He knew they were trying to kill me because Strange called me a faker 15 years ago and cackling about it and laughing, and then made fun of me for this guy Pete, how he was running a scam on me. I mean, it was awful. If they wanted him to act like a crazy cop person, he nailed it. He confessed he talked to everyone, then it becomes stupid. Just stupid. Then you don't have the authority. It takes the judge. We all know it takes the judge to put a gag order on you. No judge can sign a court order taking your freedom of speech away outside a jury trial, because only they can put a gag order on you in a jury trial. See what I mean? That's where Walter, my friend from the prosecutor's office, no judge could take your freedom of speech away except for in a jury trial. And he couldn't sign a court order taken away outside of that. They go to jail themselves. It's a freedom of speech. The agent was only bullying you. The cops know that. I heard he told. He can't tell, but he can tell whatever you want. He can't say a word. He can't make up his own rules. And you can't withhold my money. And Agent John, everybody's acting like you steal from cases. All you had to do is hold on to that money and dangle it in front of them and have the wolves come out trying to steal. Get an extortion group. Where they said it's a large extortion group in 22. I like my money. I have a lot of good to do with it. A lot of good. Everybody knows. Found out last night, outside my work, that guy's talking. He said none of this is funny. And the guy's like, they said her son lives in Florida, lived in Florida for years. Then who have I been talking to? I had somebody impersonate my son. They had somebody that, some guy, where Dave told Danny he had hired some guy named Pete on his own. It was Pete and his men in her home before. Pete has her framed and Pete has her taped. Never met him. Some guy named Pete. He impersonated a retired Judge Pete from the Ravenna courthouse, framing Ludick and Stephen. These people impersonated the Portage County Sheriffs and the FBI. Get the idea? It's a scam. It's a big con, the whole thing, and that lady out there. How she's going to turn this around on Dixie and Melissa once she can get their names put on any of this. And she's going to arrest them as fast as she can. And they're going to hit them with all kinds of charges every which way for being part of this. You leave the dumb girls alone. I already told my sons. How about you? And how you were breaking outside my apartment on May 30th, 25. My car's bugged from the feds, honey. Entrapment is when law enforcement tricks you into doing a crime you would never do on your own, except the crime within itself. I turned you over to the FBI, CIA, NSA. Huh? Oh, yeah. And if I can get any other government agency to, and I've turned you over to sheriffs. Like an investigator said, that lady needs to go to jail for interfering in an FBI case. Agent John, I like my money. Are you done playing with the dumb people? And the lady, you leave my family alone and those pathetically dumb girls. Pathetically dumb girls. She's offering endless amount of money to put a name on it. If you just say something about her, you'll get endless amount of money. She's lying to everyone. She's in it with Bill and the Freemason and his con. See, Dave had, within 10 days, said Dixie and the baby is next. He'd teach Josh a lesson for letting her down there. He was so angry he cut his hands off so he couldn't work anymore. And for they have a list. And they'll move on to who they want next. I Googled the office where that agent was. I found him. He's got a list. I'm working on it. Well, they can't kill Dixie in front of him, so they're trying to trick her into going to jail for 20 to 25 years for the attempt extortion under fraud. The attempt extortion out of the government's 20 years. The attempt extortion out of an individual is 5. And that guy Pete is some kind of Jack the Ripper rapist doctor. If he is even a doctor, he impersonated a judge. Blaming Judge Ludick and Judge Stephen and the Portage County Sheriffs. Like an investigator said, we checked to see who was in that hospital that day. It wasn't the Portage County Sheriffs. They were either the Freemasons or the drug cartel impersonating him. They impersonated him at Faith Family Church, too, in front of the cops. That they were helping out in this because he was a retired judge. I went to the sheriff's. I didn't even know anything about this. There's special permission. That's a bunch of hawking bullshit. He didn't know about it. Dave hired those 2 men on his own. And then Freeman, Ludick, and Stephen, for letting a friend get away with crimes, they were actually under investigation for you lying on them. And so were the sheriffs. That's how not funny this is. Like they said, we already know they're framing everyone. Trying to pull their big scam off here. Realize how not funny this is. I was up in Macy's on the 8th in Summit Mall. This Middle Eastern man came up with this lady and she said, is that the one they're talking about? I said, yes. He said, this whole thing is sick. They had some doctor gave a bunch of guys a bunch of drugs to use on her, went over and drugged her up to tell her to say stuff and beat and raped her under drugs. You know, I thought the well water was killing me, trying to make sense of what is happening to me. I move into this new home. It's out in the country. The well water is like orange. And we had to get a water treatment system. It took us a couple months to get it in. Okay? You still have to take a fast shower. You still have to wash your hands after you use the bathroom, but bring in bottled water to cook and drink. Okay? By the second week, I'm almost passing out in front of people. Got bruises on me. Then my personal area gets so swollen, it's pushed out and open and down, and I scream when I pee. I'm throwing up, almost passing out, giant bruise. I thought it was giving me cancer. Going to the doctor, what on earth is wrong with me? Here they're drug beating, raping me under drugs, drugging me up and telling me to say stop. That's how not funny it is. And they're putting me on iron pills, muscle relaxers, stuff for headaches, nauseousness, and a severe swollen personal infection. I'm being human trafficked out of that house under drugs. That's not funny at all. This whole thing is sick, what those men did. And they're not going to give nobody a dime. It's a trap. For everything's a trap. You don't do the right thing, you end up in jail. Remember, for everything's a trap. You leave Dixie and Melissa alone. Like they said in Walmart, the police better be telling that bitch to leave Dixie alone. You leave Melissa alone and all my family, you hear me? Dave threatened to kill them all. Because they can't kill them in front of people. They're trying to trick them into ending up in federal prison. Leave them alone. Go con somebody else.